Oh, I don't know why I'm just sitting here like I'm just waiting on something to happen. But hey, everybody, so my name is Pretty, and I'm the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist. And today I want to welcome to you all to my store known as the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist. So I have been in business for the past 6 years. I've been practicing spirituality for the past 6 years. I have been a tarot card reader, a spiritual advisor, and I've also been a cleanser as well as a healer as far as spirituality is concerned. As far as like the cleansing, I'm sure a lot of you all have seen like videos of people doing like the voodoo baths. I have performed those for people. I have done tarot card readings, I've done oracle card readings, I do Orisha readings. I do Loa readings or Mysterio readings. I do ancestral readings and so on and so forth. I do them over the phone, but I also do them here at my store. My store is located at 8011 North Point Boulevard, Winston, North Carolina 27106, Suite 106. I am 106. I am open every Saturday from 9 till 9, or sometimes it'll be 9 till 6 or 9 till 3. So I'm going to give you guys a little background history about me. So I was born here in the beautiful city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So I was pretty much raised in a Baptist Christian church household, and I've been practicing, Baptist Christianity for most of my life. But then when I was like 20, 21, 22, I left the church and kind of had like a self-discovery era, and then I started dabbling into tarot cards, and then I started reading for people here on YouTube. Then I went onto Facebook, and I started joining a lot of these different spiritual Facebook groups, and that's how my business got started because this was during like 2020 pandemic days. Yes, I'm a pandemic spiritualist, but I love the era and the time that I came from because you just had to be there because it was very spiritual, very magical, and a lot of us grew and a lot of us, learned a lot, and we developed and growed into like amazing people, in my opinion, when we enter into that era of spirituality. So when I got into spirituality, I started doing tarot card readings and I started doing ancestral readings, and then I was doing like chakra readings, and then I was doing past life readings. And then me being a spiritualist and developing my own sense of style and developing my own sense of spirituality, I started to move in the way of my ancestors. So I am African American, but I do have lineage or heritage in the Dominican Republic, in Cuba, in Haiti, and Puerto Rico. So my first non-Christian, I want to say, experience, or my first non-Christian initiation was in Santeria. So when I first started moving into these different religions with my spirituality, it was mainly at the time I was getting readings done by a priestess, and she was the one who was guiding me on what spiritual path to go to, what spiritual path to go down. And so the first religion, African traditional religion that I was introduced to was Santeria. I had dibbled and dabbled into Santeria like early on in my life as a kid because I used to always be interested by Puerto Rican culture or Caribbean culture. And I did touch on Santeria every now and then, but eventually I just, put it down. But it popped back up again in my life through this reading. And so I was told to talk to Ilegua because Ilegua is the gatekeeper, he's a road opener. And then when I went to Ilegua, I had other orishas like Oshun, Yemaya, and Shango and Oya come up. And then that's when I started getting initiations. I received my leges, and then I received my warriors, and then I received my hand of Ifa. And so that was how my journey really started in Santeria, was just going through those different initiations and going through those different ceremonies. I started to learn and I started to become different and I started to change. One thing about ancestral connection, people don't tell you how it is a not like a catch 22, but it's more so like you're almost like a butterfly. It's like you go from being like in your cocoon, you're yourself, the self you always known, but it's like when you tap into ancestral connections, you become like a new person, you become like a new being. So when I received my legates, I felt protected, I felt guarded, because when you have your Eleques, prayed over, consecrated, and fed, they carry weight. And it's like wherever you go, it picks up the energy, it picks up the vices, it picks up the ill intentions. Everywhere you go, whatever is being thrown at you or projected onto you, those bees they pick them up. So throughout time they will start to carry weight and become pretty heavy. And depending on what happens to them, they may need to be purified, consecrated, or cleansed again. Unfortunately, I was doing a ritual to protect myself in my room, and my room caught on fire, and my leggings just so happened to catch on fire. So now I no longer have my beautiful leggings. I hate that the fire happened. I hate that the fire, burned up my leggings, but I really do feel like my ancestors were protecting me in that fire because that fire was pretty bad. And I felt like my leggings had to be burned up as a way of them giving themselves to save me in that fire. So I'll have to have my leke ceremony performed. Don't know if we can get my lekes again. But I miss my lekes because anybody who knows me knows that I used to wear like all five of them or all six of them. Or I used to wear like my Oshun leke or my Yemaya leke and so on and so forth. But yes, I miss my lekes. So I do plan on having that ceremony performed for me to get my lekes. When I received my warriors, that was a life changing experience. When I received my warriors, my psyche opened up. Like throughout life, I've always been, sweet, nice, kind, whatever, whatever. But sometimes I could be a little too naive, and sometimes I could be a little too forgiving or too nice, like people like to say. And I never forget when I had my warrior ceremony. It's so weird. Nothing happened. Because one thing that I've noticed is that when you break away from what you know, or when you break away from what you've always known, it's like your clarity starts to clear up, or your clarity comes in, or you start to receive messages and signs and symbols about what was said, what was done, and how it should have been done another way, or a person's true colors, or what a person really meant. This is why people have revelations and convictions after the fact, because sometimes when you're in the midst of evil or wickedness or deviances, you don't see it, but when you break away and get into like a pure, clean place, that's when your clarity will start coming to you. And I'll never forget when I came back from Miami, flew over and everything like that after getting my warriors. I remember I was on my lunch break and I was talking to my friend and I just started crying. And it's like, and this was like, I think right after I had the ceremony, like the day after. And I just felt something just like break in me. And what broke in me was this whole time, hey, how are you? Da 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 da. It was almost as if I was living in like a blurry, like glass casket. I think I see stuff when I really don't. And it's like that casket or that glass, it just shattered, and all of the things that people meant for me that were ill or that were not good, it all started like flooding in. And I got these convictions and revelations, and it made me cry and it made me break down because I said, I realized how a lot of people don't care about me, or a lot of people really don't like me, or a lot of people don't really like see it for me. And it's like, that's a hard thing to process and a hard thing to swallow and a hard thing to understand. And when that happened to me, that's when like my intuition became stronger, my clarity became stronger, and that's when I finally saw myself. And another thing is that when you connect with your ancestors, there's not only this clarity that comes over you, but there's this pureness that comes over you. Because I can honestly say, from tapping into my Caribbean ancestry and my African American ancestry, you can tell the difference. Because when you tap into your African spirituality, and I mean, in Christianity, there can still be clarity, but I've noticed that there's more clarity in African traditional religions than there is Christianity, because in Christianity, they teach you that God sees all, God hears all, and He knows all. And we're taught to believe that we shouldn't and we can't know everything because we're not God. He's the one that sees what we don't see and hears what we don't hear, and He shields us and protects us from that. But when you tap into your ancestors expose everything to you. That's why you have all these different gifts of clarity, like clairvoyance, you have clairaudience, you have the sight of hearing, the sight of seeing, you have the sight of manifestation, being able to manifest and see clearly with your mind. And there's all these different types of gifts of like the Mancies. I know what I'm talking about, but I just don't know how to like say it in the different terms because I forgot. But you have clairvoyance, you have clairvoyance. I think I said the same thing at the same time. But to those who know, you get what I'm trying to say. There's different types of gifts of being psychic or being intuitive. And there's different gifts of being able to manifest and share and interpret those gifts in a lot of different ways. But when you tap into who you really are, that's where your gifts come in at, and that's where your gifts wake up at. So one thing I've noticed is that in the Bible and in Christ and in the church, everything that everything that you see is hidden from you. And it's almost to an extent you're being gaslit to not see what you see and know what you know and hear what you hear. But when it comes to African traditional religions, when you tap into your bloodline, you tap into your ancestry, your ancestors, and you tap into those ancestral spirits, they start to wake you up. And this is where, woke comes in, that you become woke, you become aware, and you start to see what's really going on around you and not just believing what you're told. So when I tapped into my ancestral tradition of Santeria, I became very aware. I became very empowered, but I noticed that my strength had strengthened a lot. That nobody was able to tell me something that I didn't believe. Nobody was able to shake my foundation. Nobody was able to shake my beliefs about myself or really about my beliefs about anything that I knew to be true, that I knew to be not true. So that was something that I noticed in me that had changed. Now, moving into voodoo, after I got like well versed and experienced in Santeria, I moved on to the 21 divisions. I tapped into the 21 divisions by way of Anaïs Sapie because at the time I wanted something different and I wanted something more and I wanted a job. So I pretty much set up an altar to her and I prayed to her about getting a job and things of that nature. And I remember I got an interview offer. And after that happened, I started going deeper and deeper into it. And eventually I met a mambo who had owned a botanica and she was doing the fiestas at her store. And so she invited me to one of them. And I remember that I went and that's how I got deeper into the practice. And I remember going to her for consultas or for consults. And I started learning about, my spiritual core, who crowns me, who guards me, who's protected me, who wants to talk to me, and so on and so forth. And as time went on, I've just carried this knowledge into my spiritual practices. Now, I did tap into Haitian voodoo, but I had pulled out of it because the mambo that I had went to started lying to me and gaslighting me, and she was telling me things like about my spiritual mom that I thought were true, but turned out to not be true. So I pulled away from that, and recently, I want to say within the past year of being in the 21 divisions and being an initiate, because when I tapped into the 21 divisions, I did become initiated into the 21 divisions. I received my refrescos. And so once I did that, I pretty much grew stronger in my faith and I grew stronger in the mysterios and the orishas. And then recently, within the last year or two, I started tapping back into the Loas in Haitian voodoo. And so that's pretty much how my spiritual journey has been. That's how my spiritual journey has come about. And that's pretty much where I'm at. But I have been able to help and guide a lot of people. I have had priests and priestesses come to me for help and guidance. I have had single mothers. I have had formerly incarcerated individuals come to me. I have had married couples come to me. I've had regular couples come to me. I've had people from the LGBTQIA community come to me. I have served Black, white, Native American, Hispanic, Latino, Caribbean, and African American, and so on and so forth. So I've had like a plethora of different types of clients who have come to me. I do not discriminate. I do not look down on anybody, where they come from, or what they know. And I'm not one of those like territorial spiritualists, because sometimes you will see people who may want to dominate their clients or dominate other people when they come in and they want to push them down and hurt them and break them. That's not me. I'm not about breaking people down or breaking people, off or just doing all this type of stuff. I'm here to help you. I'm here to grow you. And I'm not somebody who's jealous of their clients either, because in this spiritual world, it has changed a lot. The sacredness is not there like it used to be. The honesty is not there like it used to be. It's all about money. If you have money, you can get in. If you have money, you can get initiated. But money does not always guarantee access. It doesn't always guarantee proficiency, but it doesn't always guarantee knowledge. Because, like I said in my previous video, a lot of people, just for the sake of them having money, they could pay for this, they could pay for that, they could pay for this, they could pay for that, but they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea of where to go, what to do, how to set up this, how to set up that, because the knowledge is just not there. And one thing I will say is that money can speed up the process and it can speed up your progress in your spiritual walk, but you have to look at the teacher. You have to look at the guide, the person that you're paying, because some of these people will willingly take your money and they'll initiate you, but they won't give you what you need in order to know the power and the strength of being initiated. It's an honor to be initiated. It's an honor to become a priest or a priestess, but it's really powerful when you know what you're doing and you know your power as a priest or a priestess. So here at my store, I do sell incense sticks, I sell candles, I sell spiritual waters and colognes, and I also sell ancestor money, and I sell spiritual soaps, Orisha soaps, the black soap, and I do personally make soaps for people like cleansing baths, sweet baths, and all different types of baths and whatnot that I make for people. So this is a store where you can get what you need, get what you want. This is a store that will, bless you. It will bring you a lot of clarity, a lot of insight, and it will really bring you what it is that you need in order to flourish. Because like I said, I believe in pouring into people, into pouring into others, and I believe in seeing other people grow. I do have a business number that you can call me on, and my business number is 336-530-0363. The website is called the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist.com. You can email me at the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist at gmail.com if you would like to book a reading with me. I take card payments, I take debit cards, credit cards, I do Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and Chime. And I'm pretty much a flexible person. I currently do not do cash, but eventually I will. So that's pretty much, who I am. My name is LaPretty, by the way. These are the items, these are the things that I sell here at the store. But my main reason for being in Winston-Salem is to have a legacy, but to also build a connection. There are a lot of spiritual people in the city of Winston-Salem. I did not know this until I branched out and started this store. You got people who live here that are priests and priestesses in Santeria. You have people like me who practice voodoo, and you have people who practice Santeria. You have priests and priestesses that live here that practice Santeria. You have people here who practice Spiritismo. So on and so forth. There are a lot of spiritual people here that you would not know unless you were to talk to them or open up. But I do give spiritual context. I give spiritual knowledge about what it is that I do or the things you may be interested in. I do specialize in Espiritismo, mainly Mesa Blanca, which is known as Puerto Rican Espiritismo. I specialize in Santeria. I specialize in the 21 divisions, which is known as Dominican Voodoo. And I also specialize in Haitian Voodoo as well. If you have questions about the Loas or about the Misterios, I'm here to help you. If you have questions about the Orishas, I'm here to help you as well. I do not initiate people because I am not a crown priestess yet. And I do voodoo baths for people. So what a voodoo bath is, it is pretty much where an initiate is someone who cleanses you or blesses you. I have done cleansing baths and I've done blessing baths. So what you will do is that you will come in wearing all white. I'll be dressed in all white as well. And you will receive a cleansing bath. The cleansing bath will be a mixture, a combination of water and other waters and spiritual herbs that the spirits have given to me. that will be used in your ritual and your ceremony to be cleansed. And the same thing goes for the blessing bath as well. So if you are somebody who you feel has been bewitched, you feel has been cursed, you feel as though you've been blocked, you feel as though you carry a lot of bad or negative energy on your spirit and on your person, I'm here to help you. You can contact me here on YouTube. You can contact me on TikTok, known as the Dominican Woo Lady or the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist. You can contact me at the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist at gmail.com. If you feel like you've been cursed, you've been hexed, or you've been blocked, or you feel as though people don't want to see you win, or if you want to be successful, or earn money, or make money, want your business to thrive and to flourish, I'm here to help you. So once again, my name is LaPretty. Be sure to visit me here at the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist store here in Winston-Salem at 8011 North Point Boulevard, Winston, North Carolina 27106, Suite 106. Have a good day.